Hey there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome back. It's another Red Pill Religion podcast. Red Pill Religion, where amongst the things we say are that you don't have to be religious. No, really, you don't. We don't care. But that doesn't mean you get to lie about history, lie about science, or lie about religious people. I once again am Max. Nice to see you all. Joining me tonight are our friends HistoryNet, aka Wyatt Engine. Say hello, Mr. HistoryNet.
Buongiorno.
Nice to hear from you. Also joining us is the Russian bot, Comrade Dmitry, here to steal our elections. Say hello, Dmitry.
Привет, I am the Russian bot, always interfering in your elections.
Excellent. Also, we have Mixed Barbie, a friend, actually, HistoryNet's girlfriend. Say hi to everybody, Barbie.
Hey everyone!
And we also have our friend, who the heck is this guy again? Oh, right, Ray. He's from Minnesota. You can't really trust Minnesotans, but we'll take him anyway. Say hello, Ray.
Hello, how's it going?
Good to hear from you. All right, I'm glad everybody could make it. Now, tonight we are going to be looking at a few things, but first, I should mention again, we're under constant social threat to take our channel down. We've had multiple attempts to take our channel down, which is why we're, duplicating on BitChute and other platforms. In these days of social media censorship, we're pretty sure you'll always be able to find us on redpillreligion.com, where we also post our videos every day and regularly post articles by ourselves and others and videos by ourselves and others. We appreciate your financial compensation, especially. We prefer right now donations through Bitcoin or recurring donations through PayPal. Thanks for those of you who do it. We also still accept Patreon. Maker support is down. We keep hoping it'll come back. We could use your support regardless. You'll also find us on Gab AI. I'm happy to say that Gab at least is back and has, been restored after being nearly destroyed by censorship. So you'll find us on there. Also, please feel free to come join us in our free Discord chat room. We are probably going to be closing that soon and making it available only to patrons, except for those already grandfathered in. But in any case, feel free to come by, talk. We're always happy to hear from people. Contrary to rumors, we have atheists who are friends. We have agnostics who are friends. We have apostate ex-Christians who are deists who are friends and volunteers. We have Christian friends, Jew friends, Muslim friends, Hindu friends, Buddhist friends. Everybody's welcome as long as they want to come in and have a talk and be part of this growing community and growing movement. All right, so tonight we are going to be looking at some problems that our friend HistoryNet has been having and that others have had, frankly. Before we get started, I'm just going to say, as I've said many times, we know there are decent atheists. We have decent atheist friends. We have atheists who are friends of us. And whenever I or the whole rest of the team attacks capital A atheism, we always mean capital A atheism, militant atheism, the ones rocking the atheist badge, the ones rocking the atheist identitarianism, the ones constantly harassing and bothering religious people, Christians and people of other religions. That's who we've always been talking about. That's who we always talk about. Because, and I'm going to say this, the atheist movement on the internet, which I used to be a member of, truly is just a hate movement. It exists for nothing except just to harass people and hurt people and lie about science and lie about history and to normalize mistreating people who happen to believe something that atheists don't. Most atheists do not fall into this camp, but they're so common on the internet. It is no wonder that why it's almost 2019 and still the most disliked religious group is atheists. And I'm going to say I don't think that's caused by the average, I just don't believe in God, I'm not interested in religion person. I think it is the capital A militant cult network that is identitarian militant atheism on the internet. And we run into these people and they're shockingly nasty and hateful. I've got one going by Look a Pig who's, called me in the middle of the night and made sexually harassing remarks. I see this who's claimed to be the boyfriend of one of Steve McRae. Boyfriend, girlfriend, I don't know, lover. don't know if that's true or not, but is I even see still in my Discord has recently sent me a friend request and a bunch of porn that he wants me to look at. So this is, clearly a deranged individual who comes out of the atheist cult network. Now, Injun, what have they been doing to you the last 24, 48 hours? I'm curious. I've got a bunch of screenshots here.
Yeah, well, basically,
apparently you're a horrible racist and also a misogynist and a Nazi or something.
Yeah, all that. White supremacist, all that.
White supremacist. Okay.
This all started because of what I said months ago on Non Sequitur's Discord, because before I found out how vile they were. I was, this guy on there was treating me like absolute dog shit, and this other guy, and one time they were hounding me about something, asking me to prove them something, as if I'm under any obligation to. Anyway, I was like, forget it. You make me feel like in the room, the dirty. So basically, the C word referring to black people and the dirty, Jew, like how an anti-Semite would treat a Jew in the 40s, and how a KKK member would treat a black person in the 60s. So I was referring to how I was treated on there, and they just went, being the candy-ass SJWs they are, went out of their way to take that out of context and label me a racist. And people have been hounding me about that ever since. And now only recently, Geek Room has pushed it and said that he and his lapdog Look-a-Pig had screenshots of us talking about that stuff in the shit posting section of the Discord, and let them out in the public, and now we're slandered as racists.
Yeah, well, I mean, just to make it really clear, I have no apologies for anybody from the Red Pill Religion crew or volunteers or friends like Injun who just hang out with us.
Also, in Non Sequitur's response to Orthodox Defenders' vid exposing them, that's their modus operandi. It's just to scoff and miss the point the whole time.
But, I know
then old Grandpa Steve McRae also called me a racist and a white supremacist, and because he recently turned on me. But
the disgusting Jew hater who is Steve McRae, who denies being a Jew hater even though he obviously is one. He doesn't hate ethnic Jews.
I wouldn't call him that. Like, I know he's an asshole, but no need to say stuff that's not true.
Oh, no, he is an obvious Jew hater, and I will continue to call him the Jew hater that he is, just like he is a Christian hater. He's okay.
He's not a Christian hater. He hangs out with religious people.
No, oh, God, will you please mute your phones, guys? No, he hangs out with idiot Christians who let him spout and let him promulgate hate propaganda against anybody who believes in God. By extension, he hates Jews just as much as Christians, and I don't accept that, he has Christian friends who are idiots who will hang out with him while he spreads his hate propaganda, his KKK style, Nazi style, fascist, commie style hate propaganda. That's what these people do. I've noted how guys like Noel Plum and Aaron Ra and them will usually pick out one or two Christians to be friends with and be friendly with, but then will badmouth them behind their backs and will continue to spread hateful lies about the religion, which is what these guys do professionally. They spread it professionally. They spread hate propaganda and harassment professionally. And guys like McRae are silent enablers of it because they're professional hate mongers. That's my opinion.
In my situation in particular, it's just incredible how persistent they were, how petty they are. They have to dig through months and months of conversations just to screenshot that and, expose me online or something. They harassed me to hell all over Twitter the past couple of days and sent all their friends to join the server to get more screenshots, and they pretend that nothing happened.
Yeah, here's a few of the screenshots. Rape apologist is the one they're throwing it at pretty much everybody at the Red Pill Religion crew, which is particularly odious since members of this group have literally been completely hateful, mocking, and abusive towards rape victims. McRae has, and his friends and apologists have been viciously nasty toward child rape apologists, multiple ones. And then they got the gall to come in and harass people with rape apologists, rape apologists, rape apologists. Steve McRae is a rape apologist. So were all of his friends at the Non Sequitur show. I mean, that's what they are. And so they accuse others of that. And they run in packs. This has been something that they've been doing for years. They run in packs and they encourage people to spread rumors about people, to spread lies about people, to mock them, to savage them, to harass them. This is what they do for fun and profit.
And you know, Eve Kaninen just kicked an atheist beehive recently, and they're all spurging out on her right now.
Well, what did Eve Kaninen do this time?
I don't know. She said something they didn't like, I guess.
Here it is. I see they're saying you've got a nephew who's half black. They'll say that's not a defense. You can be a racist and your brother or sister isn't. Carry on. So they're going to say you're a racist even though you're also dating a mixed race girl. The thing is that when you deal with people like this, they know the allegation is not true. They don't care. They want to keep repeating it so you feel bad about yourself, and people who don't know you will hear about you. I'm actually curious, Barbie, do you have any comments on all this stuff they're saying about your man?
Yeah, he's not a racist. Like, personally, I know him, and he's really nice, and he doesn't say racist things with me, with my family or whatever, so I don't believe that, I mean, everybody says jokes, that's normal, but he's not a racist at all, or a Nazi whatsoever.
Hey, Engine, didn't you say a while back, though, I vaguely recall that you said to Kyle that and you actually explained to him and that he actually understood it? Is that...
Yeah. Yeah, and then he turned.
Well, they should know better.
But since he turned on me, since he turned on me, he called me a racist on Twitter, even though he knows for a fact that's not true.
Okay, yeah, that's even more bullshit.
I have to ask people to start
using... And Kyle also lives in an upside down world where Jordan Peterson's a moron and Godless Engineer is quote unquote brilliant.
Well, I'm going to ask everybody to start raising hands because there's too many people in the room. So use the / in the chat if you could. But yeah, when somebody says, "Oh, I love listening to Godless Engineer because I learned so much about the Bible from him," that is not an idiot. Because see, here's the thing about McRae and the others at that Non Sequitur show: they're not idiots. They're reasonably high IQ. They know they're lying. They know they're being dishonest. They are professional hate mongers, and they're professional harassers. They're just going to they're going to sit there and say, if you use the big bad N word or in any context, you're automatically a racist. You know darn well if you followed any of these people around, you'd hear the same kind of language that they do talk that way.
And that's what SJWs in general do. They take the slightest thing they can find, you say wrong, and then use it to discredit you.
That's right. That's right. Look at some of this. They're claiming, oh, I see Brass there was coming in and says it's not bigoted vocabulary because it wasn't an insult and wasn't meant to degrade anyone. If anyone alerts people to those minorities, if anything, it alerts people to those minorities getting hurt, which is true, Brass. And of course, they say the hatred behind the word. Geek Room, you're a bunch of lying scumbags. Context matters. You're just abusive bullies. And you like quoting people out of context and putting them on show trials and then sending all of your goons to harass, intimidate, psych out, spiritually assault, and worse to people. People within this atheist collective. I mean, I'm going to say it. When we started our project, it was because not only I, but quite a few people I knew and witnessed got completely, the goal is to drive the person offline. The goal is to drive fill them with such hatred, with such fear, with such pain, because it's very painful when people are doing stuff like this to you, and they'll laugh and they say, ha, 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 you just get bad about mean words on the internet. But of course, they lose their minds if you say anything mean about them. No. These people are professional haters. They're thugs. Um, um, I mean, I'm even going to go back to it. Any of these people, I tell a story about my child being bullied. I tell a story about friends of mine being beaten up for praying, for being Christian, and their response is to attack me. This is the kind of depraved men and women who hang out over there in atheist land. This is what atheist land is. Andrew, you had something you wanted to say?
Yeah, what I was going to say is that oftentimes they look at foul language if the language is about uh, certain subjects in the way that we imagine Puritans would look at like blasphemy, right? That it doesn't matter what the context is; it's that these certain words are magically bad that you're using. And it's very obvious that they're just using a pretext to harass HistoryNet, and they've done that to me, they've done it to you, Max. It's sort of like not expecting a dog to bark or a scorpion to sting you at this point, and it's really actually ironically a ways for them to dehumanize people like HistoryNet or ourselves rather than engaging with us and saying, oh, we're going to set aside all the rhetoric. Instead, they ramp it up, right? And it's all emotive and basically pointing their finger at HistoryNet and screeching, bad man, bad man. And running, enemy.exe in the NPC program, basically.
Enemy.npc, that's right. I am atheist NPC. Religion is bad. You are bigot, slavery, oppression, rape, protect the gays, rape, racist. That's really just all these people are. They're robots who repeat the same scripts over and over and over again, sadistically, gleefully, with relish. They want to hurt people. Literally, this Look-a-Pig person called me up through Skype just to mock me. I literally think this Look-a-Pig person would rape me or my child if he had a chance, just from the creepy vibe I was getting off of him. And I mean that literally. I know what molesters and rapists are like. And holy cow, I was listening to one or someone who sounded just like one on the other line. And he keeps sending me porn. And you want to talk about a sick individual, see if you can get anybody at the Non Sequitur show, at the Geek Room, or anybody associated with the atheist community to just come out and condemn that kind of behavior.
Yeah, Look-a-Pig in particular Look-a-Pig was sending us links to like a BDSM porn, I think, and gore sites with guys getting their dicks chopped off.
I mean, for one, it's like you don't think that I don't need someone to send me those videos. I already watch those on my spare time. But yeah.
Oh, Brad.
Yeah,
Good old Brad.
These guys,
it's stupid because, like, for example, they tried to label me as a racist because.
Oh,
like,
you too.
Yeah, because I used the N-word once, like they found. And what's funny is when you actually look into the context of what happened, I was actually in the same conversation I was having with Degenerate ANCAP. I explicitly said that I did not like racists. I denounced racism in the context, and what happened is that Degenerate ANCAP had first said the word because he said that was something his friend was being called for espousing a particular political view. And I said, basically, well, if he's the N-word like they say he is, then he's better than them. And they still got that from it.
See, and there's the thing, Brass, that any accusation they can use, they will use, and they'll repeat it. And the thing is if you get defensive with these psychos, because psycho thugs is what they all are, every single one of them, psychotic, vicious, bullying thugs. it literally, I mean, they're like trained on this, and they encourage each other on this, and then they encourage their fans too to harass people, to smear people, to make them doubt themselves and make the others, and to smear their reputations. And, the only thing I find with people like that is they are bullies. They are classic bullies. In fact, mostly they're probably fatherless kids, mostly men who got beat up a lot as kids and picked on and bullied themselves a lot. And they've decided to get revenge on the world, hiding behind their monitors and just saying stuff that they know isn't true or that they know is questionable because it gives them a feeling of power. I see Red Pill Religion Philosopher's been answering them on some stuff. I forget who's running that account. Is that Oda?
Goes to Buckley.
Oh, that's Buckley. Okay, good to see him. Yeah, these people are all about simply hurting people, and that's what the atheist movement itself, the capital A identitarian atheist movement, starting back with Christopher Hitchens and the Four Horsemen, was always about spreading hate. There's no reasoning with these people. They don't, I remember White Engine. I remember telling you about Bret Keene and all the things that they had done to Bret Keene. And you were like, yeah, but look at all the things he did and said. And it's like, no, for the most part, the atheist collective, the hive mind that these goons are all part of, made most of it up.
Yeah, he's one of the guys who opened up the gates of hell of YouTube atheism.
I don't think that's actually what happened. They've tried to give Bret Keene credit for that, but I don't think so. I interviewed him. Go listen to my interview. He said when he started, he was really mad at God and decided he was an atheist, and that only lasted a few months. And he realized, I have no reason to go bothering people, harassing people, disliking them. He noticed how people in the atheist movement on YouTube really wanted to hurt people, and he didn't want. This was more than 10 years ago. He said he noticed how the people in the movement just wanted to hurt other human beings. That's all they wanted, was to do harm, to hurt people, to drive them insane, to get them fired from their jobs, to scare them, to scare their families, to drive them off the internet. That was the goal, and that's what
the funny thing is. You know what the funny thing is? Anti-theists sure like wasting their days of the only life they'll get, something they proclaim so adamantly.
That's absolutely right. I see that Andrew has his hand up again. Yes, sir.
Actually, that was me.
Oh, Youngblood. Okay. Well, what do you got to say, Ray?
And I'm sort of
black. We don't care. You're black. We don't care what you think.
Yeah, exactly.
You racist.
Careful, that's going to be taken out of context.
Well, anyway, so what I started to notice, and I started to hang around social media sites because sometimes I'm bored. I work a boring job. Sometimes I just want to relax. But I've noticed, like, even the atheists who claim to be anti-SJWs, the moment they talk about religion, they start acting like SJWs. Like, I've even seen this phrase thrown around. Have fun being on the wrong side of history. Does that sound familiar?
Oh, Barack Obama.
Well, yeah, him too.
Yeah, but that's SJW talking point of being on the wrong side of history.
Right, and I see it all the time with anti-SJWs. They're like, they will definitely eschew facts. Like they will literally ignore China, saying, "Well, did they kill that many people?" Like, what the fuck did you just say? Like it's just like.
Oh yeah, I've had that conversation. I have noted how I've talked to atheists. They say they care about facts, and some do, but most don't, because it's an identitarian cult movement on the internet. They're not normal atheists. They're this horrible cult movement, a horrible hate movement at that. And I mean, I've had this conversation more than once where I would say, listen, atheist regimes have been very oppressive, and they scoff and they laugh and they say it doesn't happen, it doesn't work that way because atheism is isn't a belief, so it doesn't do anything. And then you show them the evidence, and they say, well, of religious people not being allowed to hold office, of religious people being jailed and their churches burned down, and they're saying, well, it's not that bad. That seems like a good idea. I've had that conversation, which means they're incredibly two-faced, too. They will put up a game about how they're all about tolerance, and they routinely show themselves to be the most hateful and intolerant people on the internet. I mean, I think that's one of the reasons why they hate us so much, because we show all the time. We get along great with witches, with pagans, with Jews, even Muslims, different kinds of Christians who aren't complete wingnuts. Our whole team is made up of people of differing religions. And
yeah. According to Geek Room, we're all balls deep in your nutsack.
We're all balls deep in my nutsack, whatever that means. Well, and I guess I enjoy that. I wish you would all just give me more money if that were true.
You talk about you owe us money.
Probably.
And apparently, Look of Pigs also docks other channels.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me. I'm not afraid of Look a Pig doxing us. I would like to know if Look a Pig actually is Steve McRae's lover, like he claims, or if that's just a joke. I'm just curious. I don't care that much. Although, if it's true that there's such a relationship, then Steve's hanging out with, has a lover who is a vicious abuser of raped children. But, he can live with that or not, or maybe Look a Pig's lying. But Look a Pig still keeps sending me Catholic porn. Like, oh, thank you. You know what the thing that gets me about that, about sending religious people porn? In 2005,
it's not good.
What more to the point, in 2005, 2008, maybe that seemed edgy. But, I'm really sorry. You can't go on. Everybody's seen porn on the internet at this point. Saturation is pretty much at 100%. You can't shock me with porn. You can't. I don't watch it. I don't anymore, and I don't like it. Although I used to be a porn fan, I don't anymore. I don't think a shit's good for you. I really don't. But it's just like, what do you think you're going to shock me with? You think I haven't seen porn of every imaginable kind?
Yeah, Brass. Geek Room was upset that you pointed out on Non Sequiturs or somewhere that Mercedes Carrera had a gaping hole.
Well, I mean, yeah, and here's the thing. It's like, I didn't even mean that as an insult, really. It's like, I could just say that's an observation. I mean, I've seen her work.
Dude, I've seen pictures Mercedes has posted of herself, spreading herself open for people. I don't even know. Why is that supposed to be offensive?
You're really gonna get upset? You're gonna get upset that I'm saying that about a porn star? Like, come on.
You're sexist, man.
Like, that's like complaining that I'm saying that a frog, I can't remember, croaks. That's if you're a porn star, having a gaping hole is pretty much a requirement.
Pretty much. I can't argue with that, can I?
Oh my god.
Yes, Steve and Kyle were excited about, well, Steve anyway, Kyle's gay, but Steve was excited about doing research before interviewing her.
I mean, I already knew about her for like years before, because for one, she was on the Drunken Peasant once, and I also, found out about her other ways, but I don't want to go into that detail either.
Here's a word that is worth remembering whenever dealing with these people. The word is pretext, which is a purpose or motive alleged or an appearance assumed in order to cloak the real intention or state of affairs. And one of the things is I can tell you, when you join the atheist movement, you get either formal or informal training. It's all based more or less on the same training they give to young Marxist recruits in things like Antifa. And one of the things is pretexting, which is that you look for anything at all a person does or says, no matter what, you look for it. And if you can find an excuse to take offense or make an excuse, you make it. It's called pretexting, and it's something they learn as a political tactic and a debate tactic. Look for anything. Oh, somebody threw out the big bad N word in some context somewhere. There's your pretext. Scream racist. Somebody made a Jew joke. Scream anti-Semite. Although, by the way, let me note that anti-Semite is dishonest, because the Jews who get hated on the most are the religious Jews. You know, the ones who know there's a God and go to temple. Those are the ones who get most hurt and lied about and abused by ideological atheist hate propagandists. I'm sorry, what were you going to say, Brass? Or you were gonna...
I was going to say that. You made me lose my train of thought a little bit on the. But yeah, I just think this whole matter is just sort of stupid, because, like, if you had seen my text that they put in out of context, and Kyle actually tried to say the whole "I'm racist," and, like, really the entire conversation I was having with Degenerate and Cap was over the fact that me and Degenerate and Cap are against discrimination laws, but we're firmly against discrimination as a moral stance. There is a difference.
And you said better a house N-word than a homeless one.
Well, yeah, and that's what I said, and that was and I said that as a sort of a funny, jokiest response to Degenerate ANCAP, because he had mentioned how his friend, who is a black anarcho-capitalist, who's got called a house N-word, and I made sure to say to them, well, it's better to be a house N-word than a homeless one. And
these snowflakes better not watch any Tarantino movies.
It's just, and here's the thing, like, no, and they say the whole thing that, oh, well, that word has been used to oppress people. Well, yes, and so has the word monkey. The word monkey has also been used to degenerate, to humiliate black people. Am I all of a sudden a racist for using the word monkey? No, it's all depending on context. Yes, some people use the N-word to oppress black people. I don't.
And they're also trying to, the anti-theists who are against, friended and culturally appreciative atheists, they take a racial slur like a porch monkey and try to label them porch atheists.
That's right. Any atheist who isn't down with the hate religious people agenda gets called a porch atheist or a weak atheist and abused by the members of this hate cult. By the way, speaking of hate cults, look at how the Geek Room is lying. They say, hey guys, we got Twitter restricted for a while. Can someone help us get the word out that White Engine from Red Pill Religion mass flagged our tweets and got us restricted falsely?
I was flagged too. I got banned.
Number one, there was no mass flagging of any kind from us, you lying. There was no mass flagging, and I saw no calls from Engine for mass flag. I'm sorry, I didn't. He may have asked a few people to flag a specific message, but if you got flagged, it was probably because you were engaging in hateful behavior, because your whole group engages in hateful behavior. I'm going to repeat something. You guys are no better than Nazis. You guys are no better than Klansmen. You guys are no better than Stalinists or Mussolini lovers. You're just vile and hateful. And I'm sorry, but I think maybe what's actually happening is that even Twitter is getting tired of people like you. I got a lifetime suspension for just saying F you to a couple of atheists. I got a lifetime suspension for that. You think, I don't know, are we supposed to care when this happens to these guys, especially when they lie so blatantly? I mean, I'm sorry, there was no mass flagging campaign, you liar. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, I mean, you got a lifetime ban, so, I mean, you're already old as hell, so that's what, 10 years?
Yeah, exactly, the lifetime ban. I'm thinking I got no more than 10 years anyway, right? Now, I think what incidents like this show, and I think it's going to become more and more obvious to more and more people, not the average, I'm just not interested, or I don't believe that God stuff people, whatever, but no, this militant atheist movement that gets off on abusing people Everybody's getting tired of them. I mean, if you look at it, they even turn on each other. They always wind up turning on each other.
Well, to be fair to this asshole, I was hyperbolizing when I said that he was doxing me, which I consider that a form of doxing. You know, screenshotting our conversations and taking them out of context and spread them to the internet.
Yeah, well, he was harassing you, right? So, and smearing you, and basically the point that I'll make is it's utterly fascinating to me how many of these identitarian atheists engage in false accusations. I mean, and they sort of are smug and proud about it, right? And you know, I'm not Anglican, so I'm usually really nice about these things. But honestly, the falsely accusing someone is actually one of the things that you can go to hell for.
And like, am I really that much of a threat to them? This guy's just pissed because I called out his friends, you know, Godless Engineer and KC. And apparently they really got under his skin enough for him to harass me.
Hey man, this is what happens when you reject the sacred. You end up basically literally degenerating to the point where you're engaging in things that like a wolf would be ashamed to engage in.
And here's another thing. Shannon was upset and commented to Orthodox Defender because she's like, well, why didn't you mention that White Engine was talking about, you know, KC and all that, and like stuff I don't want to get out in the air, but it was in a shit posting section in the Discord. Like, come on.
Yeah,
and it's because of what a horrible person she is, and I couldn't say anything to her because she blocked me on Twitter, and I thought I'd let it loose out there, and apparently Look a Pig dug through months of chats and found that.
Yeah, I think Look a Pig was the one that was proudly bragging that he was going through years of my messages just to find ways to destroy me. Utter failure, of course, for a number of reasons. But I'll point something out. Even though, of course, these people have no respect for the Bible, I will point out the Ten Commandments. If you look at them, they're very well known. And if you look through them, you will actually find that thou shalt not lie is not to be found anywhere in the Ten Commandments. It's not in there. What it specifically says, I like pointing this out all the time. These words here, let me blow them up. You shall not bear false witness against your neighbor, which is another thing, which is a way of saying you will not accuse, you will not falsely accuse. You will not accuse people. You will not do that. Don't accuse people of things they're not guilty of. Don't accuse them of doing and saying things they didn't, or things they don't believe. That is right up there with murder, theft, and rape, bearing false witness.
No, it kind of feels like when they accuse you of, like when they accuse Kavanaugh, I don't have an opinion on that, but him of being a sex offender, like there's not much you can say against it. Like once they accuse you, it's going to be persistent, and nothing you say everything you say will fall on deaf ears.
That's why bearing false witness is such a big deal. You start spreading rumors about someone that you know aren't true, and that affects their life. It not only affects how they see things, but it affects how strangers see things. And that is how this hate cult, and it is a hate cult, has operated on the internet for more than 10 years. They don't want to argue with people. They don't want to have a conversation. They want to destroy anybody who rejects their ideological worldview.
And this is how Kyle plays. Like he just wants you to say something bad, and he'll be like, "See, this is what religion does to people."
Oh, right. Like he tried saying that I was anti-gay because of something I wrote saying I no longer believe that homosexuality is a distinct orientation now that we've got 54. That supposedly makes me anti-gay. My lesbian sister-in-law doesn't matter. My good friend Eric, who, you know, started one of America's first gay bars, it doesn't matter. Any of my gay friends doesn't matter. My years of advocacy for gay rights You know, all I wind up with is backstabbed by people like that, accusing me of homophobia. And it's just like, people will bear false witness on a dime. They'll take any pretext they can. I'm just going to say it. They're flat out evil. And furthermore, even when one of them comes in and says, well, you did, you know, how you should apologize because you said something nasty to so-and-so, your answer should be, you first. You first. When are you guys going to apologize for anything? And they never do. I don't know. I guess we're just kind of rambling here, but I think it's important that more and more people see this. Destroying people's reputations and destroying them generally is actually what this atheist movement that these people are part of is about. And it's really funny. People come in, Christians especially, but people others come in and say, "Why are you being so mean? You're making it worse. You're driving them away." And I'm like, "No, I'm not. This is who they are." And
turns out Geek Room's in the chat.
Well, they can be in the chat. I don't know how they got in the chat since I blocked them. I don't want them here, but the little fascist, racist pigs can say whatever they want. Because, you know, really, making false accusations of racism, that usually comes out of racists, in my experience. Just like false accusations of misogyny usually come out of misogynists. And false accusations of homophobia often come from gay haters, especially from self-hating gays. I've seen this all the time. These people project. They find a pretext to attack somebody. They stick with their pretext, and they're always projecting, because you can rarely find a bigger bigot than these people. They have no respect for black people. They just want to be able to scream, "You're a racist." They don't really care about gays either. You've just got to be the right kind of gay. Otherwise, they can destroy you. Hell, they've done it to members of our team who are gay.
I was going to say, wasn't it Cult of Dusty who originally said that? I remember he had a video where he said that atheists were the new N-words, and everyone just, cheered it, and, no one called him a racist.
Yeah, absolutely. There's the classic atheist victim mentality. We're the world's victims. Never mind that, after more than 10 years of pro-atheist, anti-religious propaganda, atheists are still the most disliked religious group. And the one thing the bullying pigs at the Geek Room and places like that, I don't know. I'm just going to be repeating myself. They are bullies who attack them in high school. They are the bigots they claim to hate. They are the intolerant, Stalinist, KKK-style thugs that they think that they're defending against. They're hateful to Jews. They're hateful to Muslims. They're hateful to Hindus. They're hateful to Buddhists. They're hateful to deists. They're hateful to atheists who won't toe the line. They're hateful to agnostics who won't toe the line. And what's worst about them, I think, is that while they're doing all this, they lie constantly about science, and they lie constantly about history, too. They poison everything they touch. They're vile wherever they go. Geek Room, please quote me as saying that. Then go ahead and lie and say I said it about all atheists, even though I didn't. I said it about you and your fellow cultists. I'm sorry, my best advice for Brass and for Injun and for anybody else, get back in these people's faces and otherwise block them. And be especially leery of the ones who seem nice, because you know why? Sociopaths and narcissists who mean you harm will often be very nice and very charming. They sometimes appear in the form of pretty girls. They sometimes appear in the form of ugly girls. They sometimes appear in the form of douchey men. Sometimes they appear in the form of well-coiffed and gentlemanly young men.
Hold on. He said he sent you something, actual evidence of your boy, me, making up lies. LOL.
And who sent it? The Geek Room?
Yeah, let's just see what he has to say.
Well, I don't see anything. So, where would he have sent it to me?
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not going to be clicking on any links from Look a Pig. I've seen enough cheap, sleazy gay porn. I've seen plenty of porn in my life. I'm not interested. The geek
Well,
room
wait. So
lies.
wait, Max. You looked at a lot of gay porn in your life.
There's no.
He's
I'll tell you literally.
he said it. He sent it to your email.
He sent it to my email. Well, fine. I won't be looking because you'll be lying because you're a professional liar. I'll just delete the mail without even looking because you've provided no meaningful evidence so far. And you're
Just hear him out.
hear him out. Okay.
Well, yeah.
After the show, I'll go look at it and hear him out. But since
there'll be porn.
Since he's associated with people who mock and abuse child rape victims, I don't see why I would think he's got any credibility at all, or why I should listen to anything he says. And that because he hangs out with people who abuse child rape victims. That's the kind of people the Geek Room is. And they hang out with people who continue to abuse child rape victims for fun. I'm sorry, Geek Room, you're a bunch of scum, and your fans are total scum too. Please go ahead and try and do something with the fact that I identified you as scum. By the way, if you were here physically, I'd still call you scum to your face. I certainly wouldn't shake your hand or dine with you because you're vile people who lie about innocent men. Well, you know, like Brass and Injun here. I don't believe anything you scum have to say, and I don't believe anything your scum friends have to say. And I have no respect for your fans who, from looking at their activities, your fans are some of the most vile, horrible people on the internet. Please quote me as saying that fans of the Geek Room and the Non Sequitur Show are some of the most vile, hateful people on the internet. People like Shannon, too. Vile, hateful.
No, not Shannon.
Nazis. Yes, okay, I'll stand by it. You can say, no, I think you're just fooled by a pretty face and a manipulative con artist who's a bigot as bad as any of these people. But, you know, maybe I'm wrong. I don't think so, though. We'll see. I'm almost tired of talking about these people. I think the only reason I wanted to do this show was so that we could show how they're going after Injun and how they're going after Brass. And their crime ultimately is associating with this team, even as friends. And if that's how they're going to play, that's fine. Anybody associated with NSS, Geek Room, or any of those, we automatically consider them filthy, bigoted scum who lie about everything and who like to abuse child rape victims, because that's who all these people are.
We were going to talk about your past history of being harassed and.
Dude, they harassed my child. Took his internet channel out just because they didn't like him. And when I pointed out that I have personal friends who've been beaten up for being Christians, all they could do is get mad at me and find a pretext to get mad at me instead of having the balls to acknowledge that none of that is acceptable. Because again, the game is called pretexting. Find any reason you can to turn it around on people and accuse them of doing something wrong. And actually, if you study anything on how to deal with people with narcissistic personality disorder, they all give the same advice. Because these people are all raging narcissists. It comes with the atheism, actually. Narcissism and atheism go together quite frequently psychologically. The only way to deal with a narcissist is to not give them an inch and to give them no pleasure in encountering you. Make it unpleasant for them to be around you, and they'll eventually go away. So I don't know. I'll glance at the Geek Room's supposed proof. I expect to laugh at it, and I expect to want to vomit because, after all, the Geek Room is populated by people who enjoy torturing child rape victims psychologically. That's who the Geek Room is. That's who the Geek Room's friends are. People who abuse child rape victims. Who all of you are. That's who your fans are. That's who your friends are. That's who your defenders are.
Well, he's an SJW that tried to smear me, but I wouldn't call him an abuser of rape victims.
I'm sorry. They are associated with people like Steve McRae, who is an abuser of child rape victims. Okay, that's what the Non Sequitur Show is. They are abusers of child rape victims. We've already had them do it to 3 that I can confirm, including myself. That's the kind of scum that's at Non Sequitur Show, and that's the kind of scum who are friends with the people at the Non Sequitur Show. And, you know, by association, it's entirely fair to tag the Geek Room with being just those sorts of people who abuse child rape victims for fun and for ideology. Certainly what Steve McRae does professionally, and they're friends with him. So that's, my final statement. And by the way, I'll stand by it. They're going to keep trying to scream libel. They know it's not libel. It's a valid opinion based on the irrefutable evidence that it's what they've done. Did anybody have any closing statements that they wanted to make or anything like that?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ray.
Yeah, I basically just wanted to say, first off, since the Geek Room's listening, you can try and come after me. Call me whatever you want. Call me a coon, a house N-word, a porch monkey, whatever. I don't care. But
Uncle
it's just...
Tom.
Yeah, thank you, Brass. But just like, you all are fucking cowards. And I'm not gonna get too heated here, but it's fucking cowardly. Like, racist, homophobic, all that stuff. All that stuff is being said now because they don't have an argument. And I dare them, if they have an argument, come at me. Try it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go down easy.
Yeah, bring us more of your out-of-context screenshots. They're very amusing. Barbie, did you have anything else you wanted to say?
Yeah, it's my Black Rican princess.
Is she Puerto Rican?
What'd you say?
Yeah.
You're Black Rican?
Yeah, and I have white in me too.
I don't like Puerto Ricans. Get her out of
We don't want to know what you and Injun do. We already know that.
I don't
Oh
believe.
my gosh.
We're not racist, but we do
Good
hate.
God.
Yeah, we're not racist, but we do hate Puerto Ricans. So you're going to have to get out.
Oh, really?
Well, hey, that's not racist. Castizos.
Go ahead.
White Hispanic.
I'm sorry, we're interrupting too much. Barbie, final thoughts?
Oh, yeah. Mr. Bast and HistoryNet are not racist, and I approve that message.
All right, very good. Dimitri, did you have any final thoughts?
Oh, I just wanted to say that Geek Room used apparently what Geek Room did was that he used a video in which Injin were on, and he used that terminology, and I got on Injin's case saying there's a lot of SJWs out there saying who are eager to take that out of context to discredit you, and the reason why I didn't private it was because I didn't want to make it appear like I'm some shady fuck. But seriously, that's like complete bullshit because I know Injin did not mean it in that racially insensitive way towards black people or anything.
He was. We were gonna bring that up. I was mocking how KKK members talk, and immediately after I said that, I said that's how they talk.
Yes, you had even noticed how that female atheist, the pretty one that we've talked about, you were actually calling her out for talking that way because she's guilty of that. In fact, and I'll go ahead and say without apology, the creepy atheist hate cult movement that is represented by the kind of people at the Geek Room, who, by the way, are just horrible people with horrible people as fans. They do treat religious people like they're N-words. That's exactly what they've done. That's exactly what they do. I've said that myself publicly, and the only reason I would castigate Injin for saying it, because it's irrefutably true, is that you might get suspended and taken out of context if you say that out loud. Because really, people in the creepy atheist hate cult movement, the ones associated with Atheist Republic, who admire the Four Horsemen, who are into the entire atheist movement thing. No, that's who you guys are.
I dare these SJWs to go to the hood where black guys talk to each other like that regularly and tell them to knock it off. See what happens.
They'll get their asses kicked is what will happen. All right, Brass, and Andrew's going to, everybody's getting a final one. Brass, did you have anything else you wanted to say?
Yes, it's like, I think if you're going to accuse me of racism, it's good to always put the entire context in there. It might be very good, and, there's a massive amount of evidence against the claim that I am racist. And, I've always said this, I am half German. I only half hate the Jews. And that's only...
Well, people say brass,
you
but
anti-Semite.
but I'm racist against Germans.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
but I mean, yeah, but anyway, yes, I just think this whole situation, all kidding aside, this whole situation is just stupid and retarded and this whole thing is just really a matter of they can't accept that a word can be used in a non-offensive context.
Yes, they can, because I bet you every single one of them has used that word in similar contexts before, and would have no apology if they got caught for it, and would have a bunch of their friends coming to apologize for them. Because I find that that's what people like that are like. Andrew, final thoughts?
Sure. All I was going to say is one thing is someone who thinks that the race of a person is important on judging how good of a person they are, that's who a racist is. And if you believe that the content of the character of the person is the most important thing, like let's say 99 or 95% of it, you're not a racist. And the other thing, and just sort of segueing off what you said, they will say, we're just joking whenever, they engage in blasphemy or attack religious people or whatever. And they don't think that, using religious words inappropriately deserves this protection, but when it's things that they can stick to their opponents, suddenly context doesn't matter. But context is entirely important when we look at the insulting language they use.
That's right. We're supposed to accept their context, but our context doesn't matter. I agree with all of it. I'm going to stand by my friends Brass and Injun and any of the rest. They are not racists. The attacks against them are clearly hypocritical, and I will repeat, are coming from people who get off on and enjoy abusing child rape victims, because that's what they do. And otherwise, they're very predictable. They'll take any pretext in order to mock anybody else. They're cruel, they're hateful, they're malevolent. No better than KKK, no better than Antifa, no better than neo-Nazis, no better than Mussolini, no better than Maoists, no better than Stalinists. You people are vile, your friends are vile, and I make no apologies for saying so. And I advise anybody who encounters these people to simply mock them and block them, because they're vile and they're part of a dying cult religious movement that was real cutting edge for millennials about 10 years ago, but is now just kind of petty and disgusting, and nobody likes atheists because of scum like the Geek Room and, let's just face it, anybody who's friends with them, because they're just such scummy people. All right, everybody, please be sure to tune in tomorrow night. We're going to be talking about something else other than drama with the creepy atheist hate cult community. On Wednesday, we should have John Wright in here. If not, we're going to have another guest. We are here every night, so please, as long as we manage to survive on YouTube, give us a like, give us a subscribe, and tell your friends or enemies. Please also get in the habit of laughing at, mocking, and making fun of people who are part of the atheist hate cult collective. Please visit us on redpillreligion.com. Please check us out on BitChute. We're opening up on mine soon. We're never going away, so you guys are going to have to get used to it. So give us a like, give us a subscribe, tell your friends or enemies, and God bless everybody.